Spoiler warning. The contents of this podcast may ruin your television show, movie, comic, cartoon, book, or life. It is your decision to continue to watch or listen to this episode. Here are your hosts, AJ Coppola and Susie Cromwell James.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
The name's Nukem, Duke Nukem, and you're watching the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. I don't know why, but you are.
What's going on, nerds, and welcome to this week's episode of the Spoiler Warning podcast, where we're going to take episode 6 and try to give it to you as best as possible. It's called The Price. Thanks, Susie, for finding that out. It only took me, forever to do it. But just like what we thought last week when we ended last week's episode, this is the flashback episode. The whole episode is a flashback, but it breaks every flashback from the game up and puts it in one episode, and in that way I think they did a pretty good job with it. But hi, Suze, how are you?
I am good.
What'd you initial thoughts of the episode before we go in and start having fun with it?
Okay, well, the first comment out of your mouth was, "Ooh, they gave us a nice long episode today." And of course we ended it and I'm going, but there's 12 minutes left.
Well,
what the hell?
Well, that's all the see you next week episodes or
yeah, I know
previews.
But I like that we started knowing that it was a flashback, and I was ready. I think my first comment to you was the minute I figured out that it was a flashback was, is this the episode? Is this the episode?
By when you say this is the episode, what are you...
You have been preparing me for Eugene's death.
Yeah, but we didn't know about Eugene's death. That's not what I was preparing you for. I was preparing you for the very heartfelt moments of Ellie going into
No. You were preparing me for Eugene's episode. You're like, there's going to be a Eugene episode. It's going to be a flashback. It's going to be a Eugene episode. And you're going to cry. You've been preparing me for it. So, of course, I didn't freaking cry because now I'm prepared for it.
That's not why I meant you were going to cry. It was going to be how nice of an episode it started to how crappy of an episode it basically finished at. Because you go through the whole circle of nice Joel, bad Joel, even worse Joel.
But I think it ended on a good note. I mean, I'm not a particular fan of the ending scene of knowing that we're back in the present. But I think...
And how screwed up is it? That's the night before he dies.
Yeah.
That is the night before, Joel and one.
I think that's... You're getting your zingers in here.
You're welcome.
I think that's part of Ellie's problem too, is that she never got a chance to try to forgive him.
But I think, speaking of, now she probably is in a way happy that she has that moment, at least, where it wasn't I hate you the whole time. There was a let's try to. And that scene right there, right at the end, is the last scene in the game. That's it. That was the last scene we are given before we hit credits. And I find it kind of weird that they put it here, because I would have liked to have seen, if you're going from not knowing, it still be the last scene in the series.
Oh, this is the end of The Last of Us 2?
Yes. That scene when they're on the porch, she doesn't. Okay, let me phrase this so you can picture it better. When she asks about Salt Lake City,
Mm-hmm.
that's not on the porch. Ellie actually leaves Jackson and goes to Salt Lake City and goes through the hospital, finds audio tapes, and gets basically the story of what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
then it cuts to a cutscene, and she's outside sitting on a bench listening to somebody tell the audio of voice recording that this madman went crazy, killed everybody, and took our only hope, also killing Marlene and the only doctor that can produce a cure. Uh, and in the game, that's when Joel pops up, and she grills him on the "You tell me right now. If you lie to me again, I'm gone forever. But if you at least give me the truth, I'll go back, but we're through." That's when that scene actually happens in the game. I kind of do like how if they were gonna do it the way they did, as much as I was a little, like I said, nah about it. I was kind of happy that it went from, because now you find out that she knows.
I like this better. Like, just hearing you describe like how it is in the video game, I like the placement of this better.
Okay.
I feel like it's a better backstory to Ellie. I feel like it helps understand kind of what's driving her for the justice.
And honestly, it really makes Joel have to come out and face what he's done,
Mm-hmm.
right there and then, in a way. And I guess it also keeps everything intact within an episode by keeping them in Jackson to do it instead of
Mm-hmm.
jumping to Salt Lake City to go deal with
Yeah.
it.
No, like I said, I definitely like this way better. Um, I mean, Ellie knew something was up with the whole Salt Lake
Oh,
City.
100%. But she obviously doesn't want to believe it. And we
Mm-hmm.
finally get the words out of Joel's mouth.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, and
His
he said it best at the end of the episode. Like he did. You don't really understand why he made the decisions he was going through until you're put into that position.
Yeah, and he basically says, "Wait, if you're ever put in these shoes, I hope you do a little bit better than me." And that's kind of how the episode started.
Mm-hmm.
A brand new to TV show, flashback of him, Tommy, and their father. Um, and his father basically saying, "Yeah, I do those things. My father was worse, and I hope if you ever have a kid, you're better than me." So we kind of got to see that, Susie. But wow, what a huge throwback or flashback episode. She burns her arm just so she could wear short sleeves again. In the game, it's a chemical burn. I know you mentioned that you like this being a little bit better. Um, and then they go on for another birthday trip a year later after that, and they go to a museum, and it's literally, even in the game, it's such a beautiful sequence. What did you think of the pure joy of Ellie
I
going through a museum?
That was amazing for me. Like just to see, like, first of all,
You got a daughter. You're gonna be able to
I
do all this with your daughter.
I love seeing the joy on my daughter's face when she goes through this. So, but not only that, but like I had joy, like watching Ellie walk up to the T-Rex and go, "There's a dinosaur. I'm on the dinosaur." And we all go to museums. We all see like, some sort of statue or something out front. One of the more famous ones has a T-Rex out in the front, and it literally has a placard that says, "Do not climb on me."
I can see
And to see
why.
her climb on it, it was all of my hopes and dreams just right there. I got to see her climb it. I was good. So one of the few things I wish we could do is just climb a T-Rex. Obviously a dead one, not a live one, because I'm the idiot who would probably climb in the mouth and be like, hey, look at me, mom, and then jump.
Clever girl. But yeah, Joel gives her the surprise of the Apollo 15 launch,
Mm-hmm.
just like in the game. And as much as people have said Bella sucks in season 2, she captures Ellie once again with the and you got to give it to everybody that works behind the scenes and how they transform the scene into like the actual launch of it, and it
Mm-hmm.
just brings you into the moment and you really feel like she's just getting the best birthday experience possible. But then we have to get to Eugene. This was kind of a tough one.
Well, no, you skipped a year.
I did.
You did.
Oh, when she was getting the tattoo
Mm-hmm.
and having a little fun time with Kat.
Yep.
Yes, she was getting the now burn covered up. That way people just didn't see a burn / bite mark. And I think Joel basically not understanding the situation, but trying to act like the best father he thinks he can be. I know you had thoughts on that whole scene. I'd like to hear your 2 cents with that.
One of the big things that nobody really comprehends are the thoughts that go through a father's mind. Mm-hmm. Especially when situations like that happen. And he overreacts like a father will. And I'm not saying all fathers are like this, but a lot of girl fathers overreacts like a father will. But he took himself away from the equation and went to calm down.
Yeah.
He knew he was being a little overreactive and went to calm down. Ellie then took it a step further to move out. And as a teenage daughter whose father would have been understanding, but definitely would have reacted probably like Joel did the first instance he saw it. I probably would have had thoughts to move out too. But I probably would have had a conversation with my dad and gone, hey, this is what's going on. But when you don't grow up with girls, or you don't grow up in a household with women in it, it's a little harder to kind of understand what they're going through, all of the changes they're going through. Yeah. It's harder
because Sarah never got to that point.
Right.
She died before hitting the I think she died at 11.
Yeah, so she died before she really,
yeah, Joel had a chance to grow as a parent when she hit puberty and everything.
So it's learning for him too, and I think to some extent Ellie realized that. To other extent, she realized that she needed to start having her own space. Yeah. So it was good that Joel fixed up the garage for her. But that was interesting to see. Like, you just saw the moment of, I need to take a step back.
And that's exactly what we kind of saw him in a matter of a couple scenes grow.
Yeah.
And for in the game, it took him a little while because, not trying to say old people, but people of a different generation take a little longer to come around to people in a different generation. That makes sense?
It made sense to me.
Well, that's all that matters, I guess.
No, because we even face it today where we get people from like my generation and younger that is someone of an older generation who we call boomers. They'll say something just, so out of pocket, so out of like what we consider to be a generational norm.
Yeah.
That you go, okay, boomer. And sometimes you have to then, as a younger generation, take a step back and realize they're from a different era. They grew up differently than we did. They had different life experiences than we did.
And that's kind of
So,
how this episode starts.
yeah.
Now, shall we get to Eugene and the huge hole in the head?
Yeah, the huge hole in the head that I was totally scrolling on Facebook for because I knew it was coming.
So, from the beginning of the season, we knew that this episode was going to take place.
Mm-hmm.
It was told to us through rumors and everything from very, important sources that we're getting an actual Eugene episode because they mentioned it, that he's going to have a wife. He's dead. He didn't die like he did in the game, which he was 79 and had a stroke. Good for him. Now he gets bit. And Joel shows his colors in front of Ellie. Not trying to, I guess. And I think this is where she really gets he's lying, and now she realizes his take his tell, I guess. And he gets bit right in the ribcage. Ellie goes through the whole checklist of people that are infected and, kind of how long they have, makes him count to 10, and keeps his arm straight. But the only thing Eugene wanted was to just stand out of the gate and tell Gail that he loved her one last time. And I'm like, Joel's not going to let you do it. It's not going to happen. And then he goes and tells Ellie, "Go get the horses. We'll meet you down the trail. Pick us up on the way." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, you're the only one who thought that. I firmly believed he was going to kill him.
Well, I wasn't expecting him to lie to Ellie like that again. This time, she finds out right away.
I don't think in this case it was so much he was lying to Ellie. I mean, yeah, he lied to Ellie, but I think it was more so he was lying to Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
Because Joel knew that they more than likely were not going to make it back to base without something happening.
Yeah.
So, to some extent, he has to formulate some form of a lie to get both of them to do what needs to be done. And he knew Ellie wasn't going to do it.
Yeah. You knew it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way Joel kind of went about it. I was like, okay. And then he said, "Take a right," in the way of shoot. And a beautiful landscape lets him see a gorgeous, gorgeous lake with the mountains in the background. And Eugene even says, "I don't want to see beauty. I just want to see my wife again." And when he takes off his glasses and it looks at him right in the eyes, you start to see the twitching in his eyes, and you're like, he wasn't making it. We as the audience know now he was not going to make it whatsoever. And Joel takes him out. Now, Suze, go over that whole aspect of that scene. I want to hear your opinion on it.
I mean, honestly, if that happened to me, that's how I would want to be taken out. Let me see something really, really pretty. Take me out. Don't let me see the shot coming.
But do you want to be lied to?
I don't ever like being lied to.
I know. That's why I thought I'd ask.
But I will say that there are times where being lied to is a necessary evil.
Okay.
And I think it depends, and it varies from person to person. Me personally, Lie to me. Don't tell me that I know you're going to shoot me. I know what's going to happen. But lie to me. Let me believe that I get to do what I want to do with my last, 10 minutes of life. Show me something pretty and take me out.
Yeah.
Like, don't let me see it coming. Just take me out. Lights out. Bye-bye. I that's like one of the few times that, like, especially like games like this where, or movies or shows like this where you're dealing with something that is evolving. It's not black and white. It's constantly evolving. You can't just rely on something that has been tried and true for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
It's new. Like, you have to take that with a grain of salt.
So now let's jump to back in Jackson and how Joel tells Gale.
Ellie pissed me off here.
I figured. Do you think Joel continuing the lie was a good idea to Gale? To let her believe that it was all Eugene?
Again, an unnecessary evil. I think in the society that they lived in, they wanted to believe the best in people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of them.
And that's what Joel enabled his wife to do, was to believe that Eugene got bit, he took himself out, and the only thing he thought of was his wife.
And
this is why I'm mad at Ellie. She should have waited until her and Joel were alone.
Yep.
And had the conversation with him and not blurted it out to Eugene's wife.
And I completely understand why Ellie is pissed, though.
I understand why. I don't disagree with her being pissed.
Why have me go do something?
But
if you're just going to do the opposite.
But also, I disagree with, this is why this is the only reason I would disagree with them being trained to take patrol at the age of 18 or even 16. They're not mentally developed enough to understand.
That's a good point.
The difference between, a good lie and a lie. So in this case, what Joel told was basically a lie of omission. He didn't tell her the whole truth, but told her enough of the truth that she was able to sleep at night.
And fabricated some of it to help her sleep at night. Yeah.
What Ellie did was she took that away. She now made Joel an enemy of Eugene's wife when they can't afford that.
And we see the repercussions of this earlier in the season.
Yeah, and you definitely and it's why there's a lot of, we all go into the military, or we're able to register for the military at the age of 18. But they have a regimented basic training that they go through, which helps with you being mentally prepared to do what the army and the military is asking you to do. They don't have that in Jackson. So they're not mentally prepared for what they're going to see, what they're going to do, what they have to do, and what they should do. And you're asking that out of a young adult who
just turned 18 or 19.
Basically. Her first patrol sheet was 18.
And then following this whole scene is when we get a 9 months later to New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. And that whole stuff happens. We've seen it episodes ago. And then back to the scene that we were just talking about 10 minutes ago on the porch. Now, I know last week you and, I gotta say, we miss our buddy Ryan. He currently doesn't have power or internet. He got his power back, but his internet's not around. It went out around the block. You guys didn't want to see a full flashback episode. now that we had a full flashback episode, what's your
This
take on it?
this wasn't what I was thinking with the flashback episode. This was perfect. This gave us snippets of the past leading up to the present.
There was a lot of exposition in here.
There was a lot of character growth. There was a lot of resolutions. There was a lot of we now really understand what happened between Joel
Yep.
and Ellie for them to be at odds like they were when we started the season.
And that's the biggest one. Joel and Ellie had the most character growth here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what we've been wanting. Not maybe not maybe Joel, definitely Ellie. And seeing all this flashback stuff has added more to the Ellie character. And I'm really curious. I know how toxic the internet's going to be, but I'm really curious to see if some people are starting to possibly turn a little bit towards the good side with Bella Ramsey being Ellie, because I thought she was fantastic in this episode once again.
So this is the best I've seen Bella Ramsey perform Ellie.
Is it because it's a flashback and you got to see little innocent Ellie again?
No. I think because in one episode she goes from an innocent teenager to a hardened adult.
Okay.
And you see the developmental change all in one episode. And I mean, I don't know how they're shooting the episodes, whether they're just, shooting scenes haphazardly or if they're doing it by episode. But if they're doing it by episode, like, she killed it. Like, you could see the growth and the change in Ellie in this one episode.
Yeah, and you really did.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, I we're back in Seattle, it looks like, and she's on the hunt.
Oh yeah.
Do you how far do you think Ellie gets into her venture to go find Abby? I know you don't know anything, and I know Ryan doesn't know anything, but I want to hear what your thoughts going into the season finale episode next week.
I have a question before I answer your question.
Okay.
When you play the game, because I know you play as both Ellie and Abby.
Yep.
Are they simultaneously? Are they like side by side timelines?
Yes.
Okay.
They are happening at the exact same time, but you're playing as one first and then playing as one second.
Okay.
And at one point they do.
Okay. So then that answer that makes me feel more comfortable in my answer. I feel like we're going to end like season finale, like
at that crossroad point.
At that crossroad point. That is where I think we're going to end. And
then season 3, we're going to start back at point A, work to that crossover point, and then go towards the end of the game and beyond.
To some extent, I kind of wish that I agree with how HBO did it, but at the same time, I kind of wish we had done it where we had gotten to Joel's death, and then we had an Ellie episode, and then an Abby episode, and then a.
I think
just
that
a little bit
felt more to stop and go.
I know, I get why they did it, but at the same time, like in my head, like I feel like that would have made. Because like I'm imagining that in 2 years from now, I'm going to be watching this and going,
"What happened?
Where are we starting?"
Yeah.
Like, where exactly are we starting?
Well, good news. We might have to rewatch it then, and that'll be fun again. You know how many times that I've watched House of the Dragons again?
More times than I have.
Whenever a new season comes out, I watch the previous season.
Oh, okay. I feel better because that's what I do too.
I thought I was gonna feel special. You made it so I don't feel special.
Okay, do you want to know what else I do?
You read
before a new book or movie comes out?
You read the previous book? Watch the previous movie? Kind of figured. But
Am I
basically,
going to be ready for Sunrise on the Reaping when it comes out next November?
yeah, that was
Yes.
fast. That got greenlit fast.
That was greenlit before the book was fully published.
That's scary.
Like they literally announced the book being released with the movie being released. It was crazy.
But yeah, everybody, if you're tuning in, hit that like button, subscribe, follow. This was episode 6, The Price. I thought it was a very, very good episode. It added more to the dynamic that Ellie has been dealing with. It let us see Joel again for a full episode. Suze, where would you put this in the season 2 ranking?
2.
What was number 1?
I have no idea yet.
Joel in 1 episode? Well, I actually got to put this towards at the top. I'm gonna say 2 as well, and I will put the Joel death episode.
See, I'm bouncing
At
between
1.
the hole in one or the last episode that we just watched.
When they're in Seattle.
Yeah, and they
That's
get
my
found
number 3.
by
Nora.
Yeah, that's not who I was thinking of, but yeah.
Are you talking about
Is
Jeffrey
it
Wright's
Jesse?
character?
Yeah, that whole episode with Jeffrey Wright's character.
Oh, and Jesse with all the stalkers in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Got it. But tomorrow night we have our wrestling show previewing Saturday night's main event.
Actually, I have a question.
Ruh-roh.
So I was on TikTok earlier today.
Yes.
Which delightful human was at the show in Maryland?
That was Ryan.
Okay.
Why?
Because he was live and I thought it was interesting.
Was he there today? It might have been an older video.
I don't know. It said it was live. I don't know if it was today or not. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was really cool that I thought it was Ryan, but I thought it was really cool that we did stuff like that. So there you go.
Well, he goes to the shows, and I think he ring announces too when he can, which I think is pretty cool. But we're gonna preview Saturday night's main event tomorrow at right around 6:30, and then Thursday we have a little bit of change of schedule when it comes to episodes. Apparently, it was her idea, but she didn't tell anybody, so then it ended up being my idea because I told everybody.
I'll let him take the credit for it. However, I got really, really excited when I figured out what the date it would all end on.
So, since I know it's your favorite character, I will let you tell everybody what we're doing and in the order we are doing it in.
So we are going to do Lilo and Stitch, the animated movie, this upcoming Thursday. AJ, myself, and possibly his beautiful wife Jess are gonna go.
It'll be the 3 of us on Friday.
Live action on Friday. And then I'm of course going to see it again because I have issues.
Could have told you that.
And then AJ and myself will definitely review it the following Thursday, followed by Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, Stitch the movie, Lilo and Stitch the series.
Yeah,
and
that's gonna be fun.
Leroy and Stitch, which, by the way, Leroy and Stitch will be airing on June 26th. So 626.
You look so happy.
I'm so excited.
I hope you have a crap ton of Stitch t-shirts that you're gonna wear throughout.
I have 2. I have one that says I tried, and I think I have a couple more actually. I even have a Stitch sweatshirt.
Well, there you go. You could change up the wardrobes. Are you gonna wear the sweatshirt when we go to the movie? Is that the one with the ears?
I think I still have that one. It might be in my closet. I do. I'm looking at it.
Are you gonna bring the plushie too?
I'm gonna bring my weighted plushie
To the movie?
To be fair, this comes with me most movies.
What are you, 5?
No, I like to be comfy.
How does a stuffed animal help you be comfy?
For the same reason I bring a blanket.
Oh no, it is cold in the theaters. I will give you that one. Stuffed
Also,
animal
the fact
though.
that, huh?
The stuffed animal though, yeah.
It's a pillow.
That's a pillow? It's a pillow pet?
It's a cuddlies. It's a pillow. I put my head on it. I go to sleep.
We've
If
gone off
anyone's
the deep end,
interested, I'm
everybody.
used to being judged. I'm perfectly fine and accept it.
I'm not judging you. That happened like 11 years ago. Literally the same way you and Paul ended up being friends. It was literally, bleep you, be my friend.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened that you and Jessica tackled each other in the middle of lake compounds.
Yeah, pretty much.
I remember that like it was yesterday.
That was a great day.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
But let's close up shop. Everybody, let's hear your thoughts. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, the comment section is there waiting for you. Let's hear your thoughts on the episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Were there portions of it that you wish were done better? Or did the game do this better? Which, knowing a lot of people, they're going to say the game did it better because they don't like Bella Ramsey. So, take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for the Wrestling with Nerds show.
Bye-bye.